Hello everybody, this is Sparks and welcome to this tutorial video where I'm going to be showing you how to create your own extension packs for the Game Mode 4 custom crafting system. So this video is going to be split up into sections, showing you some of the different things you can do. We'll show you how to connect to the base module, which is the basic connection system, adding your own recipes, adding things other than items as recipe results, upgrading the custom crafter and making recipes that are exclusive to your upgrade, and sharing your expansion pack, which is all about making sure that your pack is meets sort of the requirements and doesn't conflict with anything that already exists. So we'll go through that in the video. There's a bar at the bottom of the screen. Actually, you know what? Let's put it at the top. The bar at the top of the screen, which shows you the progress of this video, and you can follow that through. You can hopefully find the section you're looking for or watch it all through. It's all useful, I'm sure. So let's start off by connecting to the base module. Now the first thing you want to do is, in your world, you will want to import the custom crafting base module. So the easiest way to do this is through one click. So you'll want to go and get this code from the Game Mode 4 website, accidentalgames.com/GameMode4, and then down near the bottom of the page at the time of recording this video, there's the custom crafter module. Just copy and paste the one-click code into a command block and press it, and you should find the custom crafter has been installed. At this point, if the world is new, you may want to do game rule command block output false, otherwise you'll get loads of text appearing. I've already set it to false in this world. So now you've connected, now you've installed the Game Mode 4 base module. You should find that this clock is on when it's imported. I'm just going to double check that. Yep, the clock is running. Perfect. So let's head up. So we're probably going to make this in the air just so we've got a little bit of space. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you are facing towards -Z. You can see that on my screen. And place a command block next to a block. Any block, doesn't really matter. It's going to vanish in a second. We're now going to do a set block command here. So set block 1 in the Z, Minecraft, and then a solid block of your choice. A lot of people go for stone. I'm going for wool with a data value of 14, which is red wool, just because it hurts my eyes a bit less when the flickering happens. So you're going to stand on top of this block of your choice, which is going to be set blocked to wool later, and you're going to summon a specific armor stand. So we're going to go summon armor stand. I can't spell armor stand. There we go. And then 3 tildes to indicate you want to summon it at your location. And all of these commands, by the way, will hopefully be in the video description, so you don't have to type them all out by eye. Then we're going to do custom name. And then in speech marks, we're going to type CC clock, like that. We're also going to do no gravity 1B, so that if the block underneath it goes for some reason, it won't fall. It'll stay where it is. So if we do that, we should get our armor stand, and you'll see the ground underneath it is now flickering. This is caused by the base module. Every time this clock pulses, it sets the block underneath all armor stands called CC clock to redstone, and then this command block here is setting it to wool again. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create our strip of redstone blocks, which we connect all of our command blocks to for this module. So you're going to use a fill command for this. So I've got this written down next to me. So we're going to do fill tilde -2 tilde -1 tilde, and then the length you want the block to be, the length you want your redstone line to be. I'm going to do 12 by default. Then we're going to do tilde -2 and then tilde -1. So that should... What have I done? Oh, I haven't actually put a block in. Minecraft wool 14. There we go. So there we go. We've got a strip of blocks here. And that actually should be redstone block. What am I talking about? Minecraft redstone block. I've recorded this tutorial so many times. Okay, so we've got a redstone block. Next, we're going to go down here and we're going to put a command block, which is basically replacing these with wool again. So we're going to do fill tilde -1 tilde tilde -1 tilde, and then that is our 12. So we'll put 12 there, and then we should see... I forgot to put the block type in again. Minecraft wool 14. So if we break that, there we go. So just to recap, it's this command here and this command here. So we're going to get this sort of pulsing effect, and this is being controlled entirely by the base module. So that's basically all you need to know for setting it up. If you want to release your module to other people, if you don't want to just use it privately, there's two things I recommend doing with this armor stand, and we're going to do that using entity data first. Actually, let's use teleport first. For some reason, if you convert this to one click and it installs this in your world through one click, this command, armor stand is summoned slightly too low, and then it places its redstone block here instead. So I tend to teleport this up 0.3 blocks. So we're going to do TP at E, R equals 2. We're going to stand right next to it so it's in our radius. And then we're going to go tilde, tilde 0.3, tilde. And you'll see this is now floating slightly above the block. It's got no gravity turned on. And this way it still works fine, it's just a little higher. And the last thing you're going to want to do is make this a marker to reduce lag. So we're going to do entity data at E, R equals 2. And then in curly brackets we're going to type marker 1B. So that's now hidden. It's still there, it's just completely invisible. It's not the same as invisible though, because it doesn't even render it. So that way we can keep the lag as low as possible. So now we've connected to the base module using the this structure over here that we built at the beginning of this tutorial video. We can now add recipes to it. So adding recipes is fairly simple. There's not too much code involved. There are two command blocks you're going to need. I have them. If you have text in a command block and you control middle click it, then you can actually just keep the text inside. That's what I tend to do. So the two important command blocks are the testing for a recipe, which is this one here, and the result, the thing you want to appear in the dropper afterwards. Actually, before we begin, let's just set up a custom crafter quickly. Okay, here we go. Just a quick custom crafter setup. All right, so let's take a look at these commands quickly. They will be in the description. You'll see these are base commands. There's nothing inside these brackets. So this first one here is executing on behalf of all armor stands named custom crafter to test for a dropper at their location. And then this is where the recipe goes. So it's going to test for that exact recipe. And if it succeeds, this command block down here will be triggered, and it's exactly the same thing, executing on behalf of the custom crafter if the crafting score is 1 at least, which means it succeeded in its previous command. And then we're going to change the recipe inside using the block data. So let's take an example recipe here. We're just going to use this setup here. So this is how you create your recipe without having to type all of the code out yourself. So just for today, let's make our recipe 9 redstone dust makes a... actually, no. Thinking about this a second. Let's make it stone and a button. Just anything will make a piece of redstone dust. It really doesn't matter, this is just an example, but I'm going to use stone for reasons I'll explain later. So let's say that our recipe is this. This is going to give us a redstone dust. So let's put our result in this dropper here. We've got a command here, block data, block below, and then brackets. What happens here is if I power this, being careful not to power this so it doesn't spit anything out, you'll see down here it says the data tag did not change because we didn't actually update it. But what's interesting is we now have our recipe in here. So if you want to copy everything from the item passed to the last square bracket, so hold shift and then using the arrow keys you can just highlight everything as you slide across. And we're looking for the end of this item tag, which is this square bracket here. So you want to control C, copy that, and you can literally just paste that in here inside the curly brackets, like so. So that's our recipe is now being set up to be detected, and we can do the same thing using this one here, the block data. So we've got our redstone dust below, and we should see, if I go from this square bracket here to the items, it's quite a short one for this, we can copy all of that and paste it into our result block. So that's the basics of it. If we go to our custom crafter now and we get ourselves a piece of stone and a button again, just going to get multiples of those. We'll put our button here and we'll put our stone here, and we get our redstone dust. So the recipe's set up. There's a few things you can do with this as well. So first of all is the sound effect. That's I've just set this up quickly over here. By the way, you want to make sure that your result is on the positive Z face of your system. So hopefully you've set this up so that this redstone line travels towards the positive X, which is how I showed you to do it earlier. So if we wanted to add a sound effect, it's this command here. This is a quick sample. There'll be a sample sound effect in the video description. So execute @E, type equals armorstand, name equals Game4 custom crafter with a crafting score of 1, meaning it succeeded in its crafting, and then it plays the piston in sound with these settings. So I'm just going to copy that. You can look up some videos on play sound that tell you what sounds you can use in this. So now that that's been pasted in there, we should see that if we craft this recipe again, we will get a sound as it turns into a redstone dust. There we go, perfect. Now the last thing you can do, which is very interesting with this, is currently this recipe requires this exact stone type. So if we used granite, which you'll notice is also Minecraft stone, but it has a damage value of 1, it won't work. See? If you wanted to make it so that your recipe works for any kind of stone, or for any kind of sandstone, or any color of wool, any block that shares the data value, if you want it to work for any of them, you'll want to go in here, and you'll want to find your stone system. And you'll see here it says damage 0s. Now if you want it to work for any kind of type of stone, just delete the damage s, like that. So you can also get rid of that comma if you want. So now, if we try this recipe, we should find that the recipe works with any kind of stone. So it'll work with that one, it'll work with this one. Any block with an ID of stone will fit into that slot. If you wanted to have a recipe requiring a custom named item, I would suggest naming the item with an anvil, putting it in here, and then this will give you the name of the item in your code as well. Okay, so in the previous part of this tutorial, we added a recipe to our connection system. Now, it's possible to do more than that, though. Say that you wanted to add a potion effect, or you wanted to do something else when the user crafts something. So let's try doing that by modifying the previous recipe so that it clears the dispenser, so the recipe is consumed. It plays the sound, but then it also gives us a potion effect. So the first thing you want to do is this actually needs to be copied and pasted and moved down to the bottom slot, and then you can delete this one. So this is kind of an oversight on my part. That bottom row is actually the first one to be executed. So if I just quickly show you the order that command blocks are run. So the bottom is run first, 1. The top one is run second, 2. This one is run third, and finally this one is run fourth. So technically, your recipes probably should have their actual starting recipe at the bottom, but normally it doesn't matter. Just to make it a bit easier to read, I put it at the top. In this case, we want to test for the recipe first, and then everything else happens afterwards. So we're just going to move our recipe down the bottom. Next, we want to clear our items. So we want to get rid of all of this and just leave empty square brackets like this. And then finally, we want to add our potion effect at the top here. So I'm just going to copy the beginning of this command here from the sound effects so that only custom crafters with a crafting score of 1 are affected. Paste that in here, and then we're going to do our effect. So this could be any command at all you put in here, but I'm going to use an effect. So effect, the nearest player, Minecraft, regeneration. So this is going to give us regen for 30 seconds, I believe. So let's try that out. Let's go over here and enter our recipe. And you'll see the recipe's disappeared, and we have regeneration for 30 seconds. So you can do extra things. You could give people slowness if they craft a certain thing for a time, or have certain recipes consumed. This is probably a good thing to do for an upgraded custom crafter if you wanted people to be able to turn recipes into buffs. That might be something you want to do as a custom crafting recipe, which we'll get to in the next stage of this tutorial. So for the next stage of this tutorial, we're going to look at a way that you can upgrade your custom crafter, or change it, and make recipes that are exclusive to that. So for this part of the tutorial, what we're going to do is we're going to change the block that's on top of this. We're going to change the name that appears up here, all using a recipe, so you can upgrade it via a recipe. And then we're going to create a new recipe which can only be crafted in this new kind of custom crafter. So I'm just going to quickly set up a second custom crafter over here. I'll be right back. Okay, so we've got two custom crafters here. We're going to turn one of these into a new kind of custom crafter. So just for the purposes, for an example, I'm going to make it so that the recipe is an emerald block in the center of the crafter. So that'll be our thing that we do. So I'm just going to go back over to our recipe system over here, and we're going to put our not 64, just one. That would be a very expensive crafter. There we go. So we're going to push this button so that we get our information about the crafting table. We're going to go from this square bracket here and copy all of this item tag. And we're going to create a new recipe next to this existing one that we did earlier. So for upgrading your custom crafter, again, we're going to have to use all 4 of these slots, which I explained in the last section of the tutorial. So our recipe detection is going to go at the bottom, and we're going to paste that in. So if there's an emerald block, this will succeed. Next, we're going to clear our recipe, which we can put here. So we're just going to do a blank items slot. So that's like that. So that will clear the recipe. And then next, we want to do 2 more things. We want to change the name of the custom crafter and change the block that is on top. So let's do that. So the next thing we want to do is place a command block here. We're going to copy this first section of the play sound so that we've got our execute working only on a successful crafting table. There we go. And then we're going to use an entity data here. So this is going to be changing the block that's on top of our custom crafter. So entity data at e. Oh, I need to put that inside brackets. Entity data at e type equals armor stand c equals 1. So the closest armor stand to itself, which is itself. For some reason, just closest entity sometimes triggers the next entity that isn't itself, so I tend to do that just in case. And then we're going to put our new blockhead in here. Now, to get the blockhead tag, the easiest way to do this is to go up to one of these, place a command block next to it, and type entity data at e radius equals 1, and then blank tags like that. So it's similar to what we're doing with the recipe over there. So we're going to power this from a distance. I just powered the custom crafter. And we should see that there's loads of information about that armor stand now. So we're scrolling through here and we're looking for the equipment tag, which is the things that it's carrying, which will be somewhere along here. Here we go. So the equipment tag. So we're going to copy all of this. You'll see there's a square bracket right here. So we're going to keep going until we see that square bracket closed. There it is. Copy that. And we'll go and paste that into our entity data command block here. And then we're going to want to change the item. So we're going to make it an emerald block, which I believe is emerald underscore block. Like so. And then the final thing that we're going to do is we're going to change the custom name of this to say Emerald Crafter instead. So we're going to do the same thing over here. We're going to just copy this entire command, I think, paste it in the command block back here, and then we're going to get rid of all of this because we don't want it. And we're going to replace entity data with block data and make this, again, this will be in the description, the block that it's inside, and then we should be able to just go custom name Emerald Crafter. Okay, so fingers crossed that should work first time. So we're going to go do it over here. And there we go, perfect. So you'll notice there's now an emerald block on top. The name doesn't change until you leave the crafter, which is a bit strange, but that's the way that it works. So hopefully that was understandable. So you've got your recipe detection, then these 3 can be in any order, but you need to clear the recipe, you need to change the block on top if you want to. If you don't want to change the block on top, you could just play a sound, and you can also change the name there. Now you'll notice that in our Emerald Crafter, the recipe we created earlier using stone and buttons still works. And that's because the recipe we recreated is not it applies to any custom crafting table. Let's add a new recipe, but make it so that you have to have it placed inside an emerald crafter. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go over to this dropper, and we're just going to quickly change this custom name to Emerald Crafter. And push that button, and we should see it's now called Emerald Crafter. So this way we can specify the name as well. Then we're just going to get rid of that again so that we can use this to get the data tags later. And let's put a recipe inside. So let's make an exclusive recipe that's just for the Emerald Crafter. Let's just for the sake of example, we're going to say that this, actually we've already got that as a recipe. Be careful of that. So let's say that red wool will turn into white wool and a dye, and a red rose dye. Okay, so that's our recipe, and then we're going to put our result in here quickly, just so that we can get the code for it. So we're going to need white wool and red dye. So we can put them like this, I suppose. Okay, so let's push this button, and we should get all the information we need here. So like before, we're going to copy the item, but we also want the custom name. So custom name Emerald Crafter. Let's just copy all of this up to the square brackets. There we go. Copy that, and we're going to create a new recipe here. Let's paste this down. This is our recipe test command block, which I control middle clicked to get the base code for. We're going to get rid of the X, Y, and Z of this because we don't need them. X, Y, Z. And make sure there's only one comma between these. So now we're testing that this recipe will only succeed if the custom name of the dropper is Emerald Crafter. And then the rest is the same as before. So we can go and get our recipe result from here by the square bracket over to the items tag. There we go. Paste that here. And we should be good to go. So this recipe that we've just created, I'll need to get some more red wool. 1 second. This recipe that we've created should work in this table, but not in the other. So there we go. And in this table over here, it will fail because we did not. This one is not named Emerald Crafter. So this allows you to create tech trees where you have to upgrade your crafter to unlock new recipes. So that's something worth considering if you want to make something like that. Okay, so that's the end of the tutorial section. Now I just want to talk about sharing your expansion pack. I want to talk about this because I've already had people sending in their own expansion packs, their own recipe packs, which is really cool. I'm glad that this has sort of captured the imaginations of people and that they're sort of sending in recipe packs and things like that. Logstone has actually sent in an expansion module which fixes the problem I talked about in the actual custom crafting video, where you can put things inside the slots which are supposed to be empty and the recipe will still function. So if you want to make sure that recipes don't work with blank slots, the expansion pack with the recipes in itself has to be set up to work with Logstones. But if you want to make sure that your recipes that you submit to people don't work, if people put something in a blank slot, you can install this module and use CCS clock instead of CC clock, and that'll fix that. That'll be in an update video soon. So there's a few things to consider. If you want to just make a module for yourself, that's great. You're welcome to do that, of course. You can also share this with your friends using world downloads or schematics, or using the one-click filter, which I think I'll try and link in the video description. If you want to send it in as a Game Mode 4 module, which people seem to be doing as an expansion module, there's a couple of things I'd like you to consider doing before you do so to save time for me, because I have to go through all of them, which is fine, it takes time. So first of all, you want to make sure that your armor stand up here is a marker armor stand, to reduce lag, and I'd like to make sure that everybody who submits something teleports this up 0.03 blocks like I showed at the beginning of this video, because otherwise when I convert it to one click it falls through and fails. Please make sure that none of your recipes conflict with existing recipes, so that's either a recipe or a result. The easiest way to do this would be to download and install the one-clicks for all of the currently accepted Game Mode 4 expansion packs on the website. I don't want people to install 2 packs and find that suddenly one of the recipes doesn't work because it's instantly replaced by the recipe result of another. You also want to make sure that all of your recipes work. Try and avoid adding dust or fill clocks if you can help it. Try and trigger fill clocks only once if that's the case. You can send modules to me by emailing them to youtube@accidentalgames.com, youtube.accidentalgames.com, and I will try and get back to you, and I will let you know whether I accept it or not. Something else you want to consider when creating expansion modules is how they balance with the game. I try and keep modules which have a nice survival feel to them. So try not to submit recipes that let you turn dirt into diamonds or things like that. I think that doesn't really match the vanilla feel. So try and be considerate of how you think other people would like to play the game when submitting something for Game Mode 4. I reserve the right to, unfortunately, not accept everything that's sent in, but I like to accept things if they're nicely balanced. So I think that's about it. This tutorial video has taken ages to record. I hope that you find it useful. I hope that adding expansion recipes to these is clear. If you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. I will do my best to reply and help people if they're stuck. So that's basically it. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you as always for your support with the Game Mode 4 series. I'll see you next time.